The Nadia Sahari Show. The Nadia Sahari Show.
Good evening. I'm Nadia Sahari, and you're listening to the Nadia Sahari Show. It is February 28th, 2019. The days are flying by. The years are flying by. Where are we? Anyway, we all have a dream to write a book, act in a movie, or get a record label for a song. This is what the show is all about. To help you, to motivate, and to inspire you. To help me do so, I invite guests on my show that will give you the best tips to becoming successful and living the life of your dreams. And my guest today is the wonderful, and I can't wait to introduce him, James LOWE with the Electric Prunes. Hello, James.
Hello, Nadia.
How are you, James? I'm so glad to finally have you on my show.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much for asking me.
Thank you. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. It's my everything. I'm just really pleased to have you. So I can't wait to talk. I have so many things to ask you, and I know the audience is anxious, and they're going to just love this show. Now, you were, the Electric Prunes were a band from the 1966 era, and amid that, you were working in a Los Angeles garage. And then that took you to the world stage with your number one hit, Had Too Much to Dream Last Night. And that was widely recognized as one of the first psychedelic hit records. Can you tell us about that song? How did you get that into your hot hands and make it a hit single?
Well, the song was written by Annette Tucker and Nancy Manns.
Uh-huh.
And we had formed in 1965, and we, as you said, we worked in the garage all the time.
That's amazing.
We used to play almost every day in the garage, and we put out a record before that called "Ain't It Hard," and it sort of flopped. I guess it was too hard for people, so it sort of flopped, and we thought that was going to be the end of it. But the record company said, "Well, okay, we'll give you one more chance." And Nancy gave us this song. Our producer, Dave Hassinger, liked the title of the song. I don't know that he ever really even heard it, but it was sort of more of a ballady country western kind of sounding thing when we got it.
Oh. But
our task was to transform it into something else for us anyway. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like we sat down and played the song. We sort of did a few weeks of arrangement work on it. Wow. And we did it in pieces. We didn't do it all at once. We did it in little small pieces. Mm-hmm. And actually, the intro for the song, which is the most arresting part of it, was a recording mistake that we took a piece of tape, spun it off, and we put that in there for the intro. And we were attempting to make this sound sort of environmental. A lot of the stuff we had liked, Les Paul, Mary Ford, and some of these other records had been of that era, had been sort of happening in a place, and that's what we wanted to try to do with the recordings, make it sound like it was in a place. Mm-hmm. So I guess it took us probably about 2 weeks to do that record, and who knew? All of a sudden, we started getting airplay on it, which is, what every band's looking for, is for somehow to hear their song on the radio.
Exactly.
And there it happened. We got invited to Seattle to play, and suddenly there it was on the record as we were driving to the gig. So that's the moment that you have a chance anyway.
Yes. Well, I listened to that song, and I know Annette personally. And I listened to that song, and it had so many sound effects. I mean, and they were perfect. How did that happen? How did you do that? How did you come up with that?
Well, that was the era since you're doing it all in the garage, before that, you sort of learn how to make your guitar sound a certain way or to record things in a certain way.
Wow.
And that's what we did our effects in the amps. We didn't do a whole lot of board effects. We did most of them right with our amplifiers. And,
wow.
And a fuzz tone or something thrown in. But for the most part, it was we're trying to make different sounds with the regular equipment.
That's cool. You guys made some great sounds.
Well, today they do it with modeling, with digital modeling devices and stuff. But back then we were trying to make it, do it, kind of homemade, I guess.
Right. Wow. But it worked. It was beautiful. It worked.
Sounded good to me.
It did sound great. It sounded great. And then you followed up with another single called Get Me to the World on Time. And that was named the top 100 psychedelic records by Mojo Magazine. And it was recognized by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as the number
amazing?
20 psychedelic record of all time. That's two. I mean, that's wonderful. So talk about that. Let's talk about that one.
Well, I don't know where that came from or why they did that, but I saw it in the magazine, so it must be true.
Yes.
And Get Me to the World on Time is a little more abstract, a little harder to understand, but we like that one too.
Yeah, it's cool. I like it. And so we're going to play both of those songs. So
good.
Yes, and so also, now, you had a second album called Underground, and that was viewed as a classic psychedelic masterpiece. Speak to us about that one.
Well, actually, at that time, our producer was starting to work with the Grateful Dead.
Uh-huh.
And so during that album, he went to San Francisco, so we got to do most of that on our own. Mm-hmm. And he didn't like him back, of course. If he wasn't involved, I think it might have had a little weight against it.
Oh.
But he never liked that record. That was okay. We liked it.
You liked it. That's
and
what
it had
counts.
more of our songs on it, which was a little more what we wanted. A few more of our songs.
And who were the songwriters for that album? All of you, or some of you, or?
The bass player and myself, Mark Toulon, and I wrote most of the extra material that was on there.
Cool. Okay.
We got everybody to contribute, though.
Then your third album was Mass in F minor. It was a concept album that was selected for the soundtrack and for the classic film Easy Rider.
That's right. And that was David Axelrod's composition. He was a producer. He produced Lou Rawls, and he was a composer. Mm-hmm. And he was managed by our manager. So our manager said, "Hey, this guy's got a Mass record he wants to do in a rock format." So we thought that was real interesting. And they put us together with him to do it. We were a garage band, so we weren't like studio musicians. We didn't read music, and we were, we stumbled through it and got through it okay. But fortunately, they picked that one song for Easy Rider, and that made the record pay off a little more.
That's cool. And you know what? You weren't just a garage band. I mean, a lot of musicians back then were garage bands. I mean, that's where that was their studio. Isn't that true?
I think yes, and everybody doesn't realize that, but the Beatles and the Stones and those people kicked that all off for everybody.
Yes.
When we heard that music, we were all out in the garage trying to make it too.
That's right. And everybody went in the garage. That's what everybody had. I mean, that was pretty much the most private space, I think, for teenagers.
Well, how could you drive your parents crazy if you couldn't be banging on the drums in the garage? Come on.
Oh boy, didn't that? I know. I was like, when I was raising my kids, I goes, please don't let any of them want to play the drums. Oh, thank God. They wanted the guitar. So, and you toured with a lot of big names like Bo Diddley, The Cream, The Who, The Doors, The Beach Boys, Love and Spoonful, lots of big names.
Steppenwolf.
Yes, a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, wow, Paul Revere and the Raiders. Woo!
That was a great time, you know. I mean, everything was blossoming at that time.
Yes.
It wasn't all figured out yet.
Yes.
So that was what was sort of cool about it, you know.
Yes.
And it was, what I kind of liked about it was it wasn't very respectable.
Yes.
People hadn't attached the money part of it and everything to it. So it was still considered like, you're playing music, that doesn't really work, or it isn't really a job, or
Right, right.
So there was something kind of nice about that. We didn't really have jobs.
Your job was to be a musician. What's that?
You could still be a revolutionary because you
Yes.
didn't have a job.
Well, that's true. Well, let's play. I Had Too Much to Dream last night, and let the audience hear that song. I'm sure most of them have heard it, and I think it's a fabulous song, so I want to play it, and I'll be right back. And let's let's play it. Here we go. I Had Too Much to Dream last night with the Electric Prunes.
Last night your shadow fell upon my lonely room. I touched your golden hair and tasted your perfume. Your eyes were filled with love the way they used to be. Your gentle hand reached out to comfort me. Then came the dawn, and you were gone. You were gone, gone, gone. I had too much to drink last night, too much to drink. I'm not ready to face the light. I had too much to drink last night. Empty as I staggered from my bed. I could not bear the image racing through my head. You were so real that I could feel your eagerness. And when you raised your lips for me to kiss, came the dawn, and you were gone. You were gone, gone, gone. I had too much to drink last night, too much to drink. I'm not ready to face the light. I had too much to drink last night, last night. I had too much to drink last night. Too much to drink. I'm not ready to face the light. I had too much to drink last night. Last night. Oh, too much to drink. Oh, too much to drink. Too much to drink last night. Oh, too much to drink. Oh, too much to drink.
Too much to dream. I love that song.
We're going to hire you. I like it.
I love it because you you can. It's something you want to sing along with. It's got the great melody and the beat. It's really cool. I wish it was coming out right now. I bet everybody would love it. You should do it again. You should. Now, you guys are back together. I mean, you went back together in 1999. You formed the band again, right? And you started touring?
Right.
So tell us about that.
Little Steven, Underground Garage, he was in the E Street Band. He got a hold of us, and we had sort of been fooling around with the original guys, and the ones that were happy when they left were happy to come back and play, and the ones that weren't didn't. You know, the guy that was a jerk back in the '67 was a jerk today. So the funny thing is, everybody with Too Much to Dream, everybody in the South thought we were saying I had too much to drink last night.
That's right. I bet they did.
And so for teenagers, that was a big thing, you know.
Yes. Yes.
You asked me about reforming. Yeah. We put the band back together in 1999. Stephen Van Zandt dared me to come back to New York and play. He liked our band, and he said, I just dare you to come back here and play. I'll give you 1 year. So we put together an album called Artifact and practiced a bit, and then we went back to New York to his Cave Stomp event and played, and we sort of got the bug again, you know, and it's kind of addictive.
Yes. Great. So are you performing now? Are you touring right now in the present?
Yeah, we still play. We've gone to Tokyo and Greece and London and New York.
Wow.
Just San Francisco even. it's still there, believe it or not.
You mean that country, San Francisco, still there?
Yeah. It's a separate world.
Yes, it is. Oh, well, great. Well, and I'm glad that you're back together. And are the same members all come back? Well, you said some came back and some didn't.
Some came back and some didn't. We started out with Ken Williams and Mark Tulin, and one of our tour drummers, Quint, played with us for a while, and then he quit. He had a habit of quitting the band all the time, so he wasn't any different in 1999. And so we went out with almost the original lineup, and we've made 5 albums since then.
Wow.
And who wants to hear new material from an old band? Nobody. But it's really fun creating things. It's like making a painting, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And nobody would tell Picasso to stop painting because you're 60 years old or something, you know? They would.
Yes.
You would have the advantage of being able to carry this into something else. And unlike golf, which you can't play when you're older, you can still bang on the guitar and make noise. There's just no mother in there telling you to shut up. You know?
Well, you know, it's funny, but you said something that is quite true. When I watch bands or musicians or singers or whomever, whatever, artists, and when they're doing concerts and they go out there and they play their new stuff, it just doesn't get the people. They want to hear the big hits that you had. And because that is familiar to them, and that's what they love, and that's why they came. And until those people play those hit songs they had, it seems like it's not going crazy. Like, you don't see the action of the people, you know, really having a great time. Until you play your old songs, then they go crazy. They love those songs.
They do. But, you know, the thing about a band is if you play it right and you're playing your own style.
Uh-huh.
When we went back to play Cave Stomp, Stephen Van Zandt told me, do not come playing a bunch of new songs. They want to hear it, just what you said. They want to hear the old songs.
Yes.
So what did we do? We opened the show with a brand new song, and everybody said, where's that song recorded?
Where'd that come from?
They wanted to know, how did I miss that? Where did it come from? No, you didn't miss it. It's just the same style as everything else. So it sounds like us.
Yes. But yeah.
Gee, you guys sound just like yourselves.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And it's weird, but that's how it is. How do you feel about the music today? Do you have any certain genre that you love the most, or the certain band that you really enjoy listening to?
I like a band called Green Man. Nobody's ever heard of, probably. Another band called Gomez from Manchester. I like that English band.
I know Gomez.
Just about anything except some of the beat hip hop stuff. I don't go for that much. It's
Me
okay,
too.
but it's just not my personal taste.
I agree. I'm the same. I love a lot of genres. What's that? Okay, that's good. I feel the same way. Okay, so you have new CDs right now, and I want to play Get Me to the World on Time, so everybody can hear that, because that was named number 20 at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
We've always been amazed at that they didn't grab Get Me to the World on Time for FedEx. Their slogan is the world on time.
I agree with you. Why don't you send it to them?
Why somebody didn't say, hey, this would be great for our, for FedEx, because it's the same title.
I like that. Maybe they don't know about it. Why don't you send it to the CE? I will. Hey, don't say that, because I'm a doer. I'm a doer. If you tell me to do it, listen, I will do it. Tomorrow I will call the CEO of FedEx. Hey,
well, I like doers. Good.
What?
I like doers. You go ahead.
All right, I'm a doer. Ask Annette. She'll tell you.
Well, why don't you play Get Me to the World on Time so everybody can hear what we're talking about?
Yes, here we go. Let's play it. Okay, here's Get Me to the World on Time by the Electric Prunes.
Here I go. Here I go. Oh, you gotta get me to the world on time. You gotta get me to the world on time. As you walk in the room, I break into a sweat. My hands begin to shake so bad, can't light my cigarette. And you start walking toward me, and my cool comes all undone. If I could get my feet to move, I'd turn around and run. My pulse is beating faster, and I'm heading for disaster. Here I go, higher, higher. Here I go, higher, higher. Here I go. Get me to the world on time. You gotta get me to the world on time. One kiss from you and my whole body starts acting strange. You shake up all my hormones. You put me through a change. This chemical reaction isn't easy to define. You drive me to distraction. You disturb my peace of mind. You got me spinning like a top now, and I don't know how to stop now. Is this what love's all about? Safety, I feel so without wild sensations, sweet frustrations. You get me going, and there's no slowing me down. Here I go.
Wild. That is wild.
Screaming off into the distance.
Oh, you sound great. You sound great. I love it. I do. I really do. I was reading an article that Dave Ling wrote about you guys, and I thought I have to ask you about this. He said that the West Coast band's first British show since 1967 had everything, great songs and a healthy dose of self-mockery. The only difference between the 60s and now is that you've all got your clothes on. What does that mean? What did you do? Did you take off your clothes or something? Perform naked? What?
What I was referring to was the girls used to be topless, sitting on all the guys' shoulders at the concerts.
Oh, no.
So I said, that's all gone now. Now the guys are sitting on the girls' shoulders.
That's funny. I had to ask you about that. I thought, what does that mean exactly? Well, good. Well, this has been an interesting show.
I'm glad. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me ask you, if anyone like yourself, you're a singer, you've got hits, you're famous, you're a legend. Tell someone out there who is struggling what they should do. Give them some tips on what they should do. Should they hang in there? Should they continue doing what they're doing? How can they be successful? How can they, of course, it's a different world now. We have self-recording. We have all kinds of ways to record your voice or to sing. How do you market that? How do you get it out there to get a record label? Because that's still the important part, isn't it? Getting the record label.
Right. If you don't have the label, then you don't have it's pretty hard to do anything unless you're in an exceptional situation, unless you have something really special. Mm-hmm. I would say probably my best advice to anybody is we spend a lot of time rehearsing, a lot of time in the garage where we would work sometimes 6 days a week. We would meet every day for 2 or 3 hours and play together. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of the important thing is to get a band to feel like a band. You have to play together.
Yes.
Even if you're not getting paid, we eschewed going out and playing clubs and stuff so that we could actually concentrate on playing what we wanted to play and not having to play Midnight Hour or something like that over and over again.
Yes.
So I would say that's an important part of it. And the most important part is to not give up. Just at the time we were thinking we're not going to do this anymore, something would happen,
Yes.
I think if you wait around long enough, your train will come in.
Yes, I agree.
And love what you're doing. That's the most important thing. If you like what you're doing, you got a chance. If you don't have any chance.
Beautiful. Very nicely said. And James, I want to ask you, I know that in the beginning it's rough. I mean, when you're working in the garage, you're rehearsing and you're struggling and you still love what you're doing and you have motivation because you have a dream and
right.
You make it and you become successful and you have the hits. You have the kudos, you have the applause from the audience. And that's what you go on stage for, because to see how happy they are and to hear the applause. And it makes you feel so good and you put your best out there. As you get older and you haven't done it in a while and then you come back to it, how does it feel? Does it feel the same or does it feel better? Does it feel, I don't know, tell me, how does it feel now when you're touring and everything? How do you feel?
It feels better to me now because a lot of fathers bring their sons the fathers from our era will bring their sons, and I never enjoyed the same music my dad did. So it's great to see people turning other people onto this from the past. You know, even though it happened 50 years ago, to them it's like it's happening right there today.
Exactly.
So I think other than the obvious things of touring is hard and it's backbreaking, but that there's a wonderful thing about going and playing somewhere and having somebody like you. When you're young, you expect everyone to like you. You get a little older and you find out a lot of people are not going to like you. So it's an extra treat to go somewhere and have a guy come introduce you to his son who's, 19 or 20 years old, and he likes the band. His dad liked the band. That's a great thing.
That is great. I agree. It's great. I like that. I was wondering how it feels because, and it's probably like you said too, it's better too because like you already paid your dues, you already went through the struggles, the hard times and the touring in the buses and flying everywhere and spending hours and hours and hours and rehearsing or playing to get somewhere and to make that a big hit. Because when you were doing it, you had to perform in every little city and every big city for it to be a hit, where now it's a little different.
Exactly. We never expected that we were going to have to go on the road and play this stuff. I always wanted us to be a studio band where we just relied upon engineering and stuff and stayed in the studio. And then when I found out we had the record, they said, "Oh, you can't stay here. You got to go out on the road." Even if I don't want to, even if you don't want to, you got to go out there and promote.
Go out there and make that money.
Well, and too, live, you can get a little money for playing live, and you got to sell a lot of records to get any at a few pennies a record, you got to sell a lot of records to make any money.
Yes.
So the live gigs are what pay.
Right. Well, James Lowe, I am so happy and so honored that you came on my show, and you're amazing. And you are a great singer, and the music is wonderful. I mean, I'm glad that you're out there doing it now. I'm glad you're singing these songs, and because we need that. Things today, some of the things that are coming out are like, oh, where did that come from? Is that really a hit?
Yeah.
You can't even understand what they're saying most of the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I sort of feel that songwriting's gone off the edge or something. It isn't as interesting as it used to be.
It's not.
And your friend Annette writes some really nice stuff.
She does.
And I like little story songs or something about something or something goofy. We did a lot of goofy recordings too, Dr. Do-Good and some oddball kind of stuff,
Yes.
But at least they're about something.
Yes, they are. You're right. And most of them are like love stories too. It's about love.
That's right.
And
love used to be big,
It used to be big. Now.
Yeah, before the internet, it was big.
Right. Try to find love now.
Well, I can tell you where you can find us if your listeners might be interested.
Yes, we want to know where can they get your CDs and where can they find you. Let's tell them.
Okay, with Electric Prunes 67.com is a place that they can go to look at what we have for stuff. We're on Facebook in a number of different places. I guess that's probably where you can find us.
That's it. We're going to find you. That's a perfect place. And from there, and they can get your music on Amazon probably, right?
Yeah, we prefer that they buy it from us, of course.
Oh, of course.
67.com.
Oh, definitely.
I think it's in CD, baby. I don't know. They have it in different places, but if they buy it from us, they always get something extra.
That's even better. That's really good. Okay, did you hear that, audience? So, yes, and make sure you do that. And James, I am so greatly honored that you came to the show and that you let me interview you after all the times that I was so difficult. But thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very,
I
very much.
appreciate it too. You've been wonderful. You're a gentleman, and I appreciate it. And you have a wonderful evening, and I'm going to have you back again someday.
Okay. Maybe the next 50, huh?
Well, not 50. I won't be here. I'll be in heaven.
I'm sure you will. Okay, Nadia.
Thank you.
Night, Nadia.
Good night, James.
Bye.
Bye. That was James LOWE. Thank you, James LOWE, of the Electric Prunes. What a great person, wonderful human being. I really enjoyed the show. And I would like to remind everyone about if you're going on vacation and you want that dream vacation and you want the best price to fit your budget, go to vacationinstead.com. vacationinstead.com. And make sure you pick up my book, Breakaway, The Road to Freedom, from Amazon.com, and my children's book, The Bully Cat. That is also on Amazon.com. And thank you for joining us and for listening in. And remember, you can download the podcast and share them with your friends. You can email them. You can do everything that you can do on the internet. So thank you for joining us and for listening to James LOWE. James LOWE, thank you again. And the Electric Prunes, keep playing that wonderful music and keep singing and touring and have a wonderful time. Thank you, and God bless everyone.
You've been listening to The Nadia Sahari Show. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Plus, get your free podcast from the iTunes Store. And remember to tell your friends.